Bart Sullivan, and his story title is We'll Keep the Light On For You. So let's give Bart a big round of applause.
Okay, I apologize if I stutter. First time I've actually stood up using a microphone, so I usually just talk. So here it goes. When I was a kid, my sister and I got dragged into a lot of different car shows and swap meets. In fact, to this day, the fact that I don't hate Volkswagens is shocking. Because that was where we go. Every Volkswagen car show and swap meet possible, if we knew people there, we'd go there and camp out. So there was one show that we went to that's Volkswagen headquarters. They just released a new Beetle. So at that point, my dad was selling peace signs for the front of Volkswagens, hula dolls, keychains, silkscreen t-shirts, everything. That was our second income at that point. So we looked on their website and they've got a deal at Marriott Hotel. They've got a really good deal on hotel rooms if you say you're there for their car show. Well, perfect. We're not going to camp out. We're going to stay at the hotel. That's our own perfect camping for that year. So we go to the hotel and it's like, okay, it's the Marriott, don't think much about it. And we get there and realize we're probably not the people who should be staying at the Marriott Hotel. Because they come out to go park our car for us. Now, I'd like to point out we were driving a Volkswagen microbus, something that thank goodness it was spring, because of course every show we go to it'd always be cold. This time it wasn't because we had no heat. So we get there, they come to park our car. Before they do, we unload all our stuff. And of course they bring the trolley out to us. This really nice polished brass trolley that looks like they should be towing meals on to the dining hall, when every meal would probably be more than my college tuition for a year. So we load our duffel bags, our cooler, our boxes of snacks, and every little thing we had accumulated on the road from Ohio to Auburn Hills, Michigan, onto this trolley. Everything except the stuff we were selling, because we didn't want to unload that yet. So there we were unloading all this stuff on this nice polished brass trolley, and everyone in the hotel is looking at us. And now I'm thinking, at this point I was like a freshman in high school. So I'm looking at these like, okay, if Volkswagen made such a good deal with this hotel, why aren't there other people that might look like us? Now, I'll give you a picture. My dad, gray hair, down to here, beard down to here. My mom had equally long red hair and was wearing a tie-dye dress. Of course, there was my sister and I who just looked like regular teenagers and would rather be anywhere else but there. So, yeah, we looked like the people who should be in there. The bellboys wouldn't even touch the trolley. We had to take it up the elevator ourselves to the hotel. And so, but all of this wasn't that bad, because we'd already been up in that area the weekend before. The week before, there was a get-together with my dad's cousins who he had just started talking to again on Facebook. And I was like, okay, we'll go up there. That weekend, we didn't have a deal. So we stayed at Motel 6, which happened to be just down the street from Volkswagen also. Why we thank goodness we didn't pick that place for the second weekend also. That weekend, we get to Motel 6, pay for the room, go inside, and suddenly we see some of the stuff in that room not so great. The towel rack was hanging by a thread on the wall. The padlock on the door looked like it had definitely been kicked in at least 3 times a week now. Not sure what was under the bed, but we made sure not to look under it. And the walls were just a color that I'm assuming they painted it originally. That was just a bad part of the room. that started it off. So the night goes on, and we start hearing noises outside, and at that point we decide, okay, we're ordering a movie on pay-per-view, and we're turning the volume up. Yeah, it was horrible that night. The good part of that weekend is going to the museums before they get together. But back to the original story. So back the next weekend at Volkswagen headquarters, wandering around with my dad, and we run into people and just meet friends of ours, because these are the type of people that go to every Volkswagen swap meet possible. So of course we're friends with them, because so do we. So we start talking to them, and they say, oh yeah, well, we stayed at the Motel 6 down the street. Well, coincidentally enough, it happened to be the same room we were in the week before. And so they start telling us, the stories about this, the door locks, the towel rack. Only they had one additional experience. While they were in bed, there was a domestic disturbance in the room adjacent to that room. And they're screaming and shouting, pounding. Then they heard some shots, but they didn't sound like gunshots. It was just sort of like the walls were so thin, it's not you could be pounding the wall and it could sound like that. Except when they woke up in the morning, there was one additional thing in their room. And the one friend of ours said, when I woke up, I looked up at the wall and I asked her, I think her name was Audrey. He asked Audrey, were those holes in the wall before we went to bed? So basically, what we learned from this experience in 2 weeks of traveling to Michigan was the reason they leave the light on for you at Motel 6 is so you can identify your assassin.
I love sketchy hotels. I got a chance to stay at my fair share, but never an experience like that. How come things like that don't happen in the higher end hotels? Come on, I mean, it would just be maybe more expensive weaponry?